Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. One of the most common reactions to the Flat Earth theory is that Flat Earthers are ignorant. Ignorance suggests that people don't understand something. They are unaware, lack knowledge or information. So I'd say the opposite is actually true. Flat Earthers have actually taken the time to examine the conventional science surrounding the ball Earth model and find so many contradictions that they are forced to reevaluate their own assumptions and beliefs. Okay, Flat Earth researchers already understand that people mostly accept without question what they are told by officialdom. Flat Earthers are seeking answers to more fundamental questions of life, which science cannot answer. Why are we here? How did we get here? Okay, of course, there are many theories, many historical accounts, but Flat Earth researchers and conspiracy researchers, they understand that those accounts can be rewritten by the winners. They can be twisted to mean one or two things. The Bedford level experiment, is one example that comes up. But if you look with an open mind at that experiment or the reports of that experiment, it could go one of two ways. Yeah. So Flat Earthers are able to examine their own beliefs. They're able to look and self-evaluate the beliefs they've held and actually test whether they stand up to a real look at them. The Coriolis effect is something that comes up in arguments a lot of the time. It's understood, of course, that the Coriolis effect is an actual phenomenon. If you're on a spinning roundabout and you throw a ball, then it's going to be very difficult to throw it to the person next to you because that ball is going to take a curved path. So it's accepted that that happens, but there is absolutely no clear, concise evidence that that actually happens on Earth when it comes to plane flights, shooting things. There are always so many other variables that you cannot say for sure that the Coriolis effect is something we have to compensate for. And if we did, then aeroplanes, for example, flying east or west would take longer or shorter times, depending on which way they were going, if the Coriolis effect is something that happens because of our spinning globe. So we just don't have any definite proof that that takes place on the Earth. So this raises many, many questions. Perspective. Now, defenders of the globe often say this perspective is bullshit. They say it doesn't exist. Well, that's very unreasonable denial of what you see the moment you open your eyes. Things get smaller the further away they are from you. You stand up, you sit down, your perspective changes, your angle, your viewpoint changes. So everybody has a unique perspective on the world around them. No two people see the world the same. Okay, so that's very quickly becomes esoteric. And of course, artists use this to make their paintings and drawings look real, look three-dimensional. Okay, so they create a vanishing point and they draw their diagonal lines, and then the buildings or the trees or whatever start big in the foreground and they get smaller and smaller as they go into the background. That's perspective, and they do that to make it look real. So you cannot say that perspective is bullshit. It exists. It absolutely exists. And when you start looking at the way the sun sets and rises, well, there's no denying that you could very easily conceive that the sun is travelling above our heads, away from us, dropping down to the horizon line and going beyond it, just like the laws of perspective. The same thing, ships disappearing from the bottom up over a horizon does not necessarily mean they are disappearing over a curve. It's just what we see. In fact, there's evidence to the contrary. If you go down to ground level, bring the horizon much, much closer to you, objects, cars, people will disappear beyond this much closer horizon, which is not a curve. At 200 meters, you're not seeing a curve that cuts people's legs off 6 inches below the knee. So flat earthers are observing these things, and they're noticing these things, and they're asking questions. It's not ignorance. And finally, it's understood that capitalism rules the world and that humanity takes a back seat. And I think that's what flat earthers are really all about. They're hoping in some way to bring about world peace. Because if you could just say, if you could prove in some way, look, the people giving you the official stories based on their commercial activities and their interests have been blagging you. That would wake people up, bring them together in peace. Thank you.